Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
Okay, so we talk in large moving sort of terms about the idea that we need to teach a man to fish as opposed to give him a fish. And we philosophically understand what that means, right? The idea here conceptually that you can teach somebody how to fend for themselves, and that's going to be a whole lot more productive than continuing to give them the answer to their problems. And yet, somehow, as workmen on the temple, we're more than happy to tell other folks how to swing their hammer and, how to measure out and lay out their work. And this comes with a ton of perils, not the least of which is it damages relationships. And so let's talk about what that looks like. The moment you find in your travels that you say words like "you should" or why don't you, or why doesn't he, or why don't they, or why doesn't she, when you're doing any of that stuff, you are trying to give other people work. You are trying to suggest that you have solved the problem or you know a better way, and they should do that work in ways that you see are appropriate, or the ways that you're comfortable with. That model of giving other people work is a cause for a ton of suffering and disappointment, I assure you. And in the same way, I can't help you understand that, or I can't understand it for you. I can tell you some of the drawbacks of it. So when you see that behavior in yourself, you might be a little more critical of where that comes from and why. So in a lot of cases, the desire to help others, and I mean the pathological versions of it, okay? The desire to help others, the desires to give work to other people, are all parts of carrying things like a superiority complex. So by knowing all the answers and having all the answers, you get to be the best person in the room for a while. That is a form of seeking external validation. It's a form of trying to prove that you were awesome all along. And the reality for most people is, if you're awesome all along, you don't need to tell anybody any of that. That the best kind of help and support is genuine help and support. It's a kind ear. It's compassion. It's questioning. It's a genuine desire to learn more about what's going on. So as you're trying to manage your own work, the hallmarks that you're trying to give work to other people is, again, the moment you find those moments arising in your consciousness where you want to give work to others. You can't take it from them and you can't give it to them. That's their work and it's their business. So be mindful of this as you go through your everyday sort of travels, and understand or reflect on that understanding when you find yourself suffering on behalf of other people, when you find yourself suffering on behalf of the way you think other people should treat you and behave towards you. Those are all just handoff work problems. And I don't mean to be dismissive of them. Some of them are excruciating. Some of them hurt real bad. But think about it in your own sort of everyday operations, and I think you'll find that you try to give work to other people on a regular basis, and it is a bad plan. With that, we'll talk about it more in the future. Thanks.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone, and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.